Hello and welcome to Tabletop Oddity. My name is Jay and today I'm going to be looking at the Emperor himself, Mr. Palpatine. I say Mr. Palpatine. He's an emperor, isn't he, really? And the Royal Guards. Not in a massive, uber in detail tactical review. I'm just going to maybe look through maybe one list, talk about what upgrades they can have. You know the style. You've seen me do these before, right, with the turret talk and stuff like that. And yeah, we'll just go through it. I'm not saying this is the best build for him. You might eventually see something crazy happen with like Vader and Palp or what have you, but we're just going to have a look at what we think might be a sensible list that you'll probably see more often. So this is something I came up with, but we'll have a look at Palpatine himself. Pulling the strings obviously important for Palp. That really frees up a lot of units, whether it be moving your Snolls up the board and getting a shot, because you can move with them and then pull the strings with them, get another shot. Yeah, that could be very interesting. And I'm actually going to make use of Entourage, and this basically lets you ignore the rank of the Royal Guards for at least one unit of them. Immune to Pierce, Master of the Force 2, which, I'm not sure there's that many Force abilities that I would necessarily say like you really need on him. But it seems sort of a waste not to take them, maybe like Force Push, but I'm not sure it's worth the points on Palp. So personally, Anger, after you suffer one or more wounds, gain one aim token. Perfectly combos with his 2-pip, and now you will die, Skywalker. That's actually one of my better impersonations, and I'm pretty terrible at impersonations. But yeah. Anger, I don't think you can, because when you suffer a wound, you gain an aim token. So for every wound you give yourself, you get an aim token, which you will then blast off with his Force Lightning. So Anger, 5 points. I think that's probably an auto take on Palp, probably, in my opinion. Force Reflexes, just keep him alive, really. Not really sure you need it. You could probably drop it, but he does have Defensive Surge. Pretty interesting. Now, as I said, Force Push, maybe. I've got no qualms against it. It adds a bit of versatility to him. I just didn't want to spend the 10 points. The rest of them, I don't. Force Choke, you could do it just for I'm not sure. Did we ever? I think we discovered that Battle Meditation doesn't work with and Elite, all that kind of funky stuff. I'd have to double check how that works. But yeah, I don't think I'd bother with the rest of them. Command, you could put Esteemed Leader on him if you wanted to, like maybe sacrifice a unit of Stormtroopers or something as you ran him up the board. You could do. These are all standard stuff. I don't think that you need them, so I probably would not take them. Palpatine, I think this is, for me, my favourite build with him. I'm not going to call it the best, but it's simple enough, isn't it? Anger, perfect. Force Reflexes if you want to take it. The one thing you normally want to do though is hide your big character like this until you can actually do something with him or her, and therefore Force Reflexes not always useful. You've got to put yourself in danger to get use of it, basically. Now it could be good on the now you will die turn, so that when you do blow yourself up on that one wound, you could maybe try and survive a few extra shots. Maybe. But yeah, that's basically the way I would run him. Let me know your build in the comments below. I'm interested to see what you would run. Force Push, possible, yeah, as I said. Saber Throw, I feel you shouldn't be allowed to take Saber Throw. But it's weird that, because it actually doesn't say he can Saber Throw, but it doesn't look like he has a saber, because it says you can choose one of your melee weapons and perform a ranged attack with that. At range 1 to 2, but you have the dice. Completely pointless because he's got a range 1 to 2, so it is completely pointless. I just find it funny that I think he could actually technically take that. And then what we'll skip down to, and it's just in order of the rank. We'll skip down to the Imperial Royal Guard. So we'll have a look at the card first. Charge, that's going to be interesting with pulling the strings, of course, so if you want to use that. Discipline 2, when you're issued an order, you can recover up to 2 suppression, so they would be alright on a flank if you wanted to isolate them, but normally you're going to sort of run them with Palp. And Guardian 2, keeping Palp alive. The problem with that is that your Royal Guard are then taking the wounds, but that'd be okay. The Electoral Staff Guard, you can only take this is the only heavy guy you can take, and you become immune to Pierce, which if you're fighting like a Luke Skywalker or a Vader, that's going to be super important, and essentially is not a counter to Luke, but you can in theory double move into Luke, and he's stuck a little bit then. You're getting a red dice and a black dice on your offensive, and he's not going to just pierce you to death. You have a red defense dice, you don't have any surges, but, that's a nice little Luke. I say Luke counter, but you know what I mean. You've got to use that weapon, though, when you're performing a melee attack, which is interesting because it's actually worse than the other weapons, which seems janky, but he is just the cost of a normal guy. So a normal guy is essentially 25 points if you average it out, and that's how much he is. So he's not really a heavy upgrade, he's sort of just the upgrade. I wouldn't normally run Recon Intel on them because it's literally just to move one at the start. But, I mean, I just did it for points reasons. I don't think, you could maybe have stims on them. Well, I wouldn't be averse to it, but you can even maybe have impact grenades in case you come up against vehicles. These are all, certainly possible. Don't duck and cover and hunter. No, I think maybe tenacity when that comes out with the Wookiees. I think he's coming out with the Wookiees. It would be a maybe, but yeah. The Royal Guards are essentially pretty standard. I think you might see with or without. You might see 2 units of 3, or you'll probably see 1 unit of 4, which I think is probably the standardy kind of list or build for them. 2 units, I could see that if you really, really wanted to ensure you got Palp up the board. And now with this list, it looks like it's illegal. I've just whacked it up to 800 points just because the bid now is no longer relevant. And don't know if you can see that, but it says 4 because I've got 4 special forces. I technically have 3, and I'm ignoring the rank of the Royal Guard because I've got Palpatine. So that's why this would technically be possible. But you'd have Palpatine, 2 units of Snow Troopers with the Flame Trooper. I've just put random different stuff on them because I had the points. Stims on the Snow Troopers is pretty decent. I think everybody understands that. Impact grenades, good if when you do get to range 1, you get your black dice on everybody. And if you are against vehicles or something like that, you can actually use them. The fragmentation grenades are also pretty good because you get hit to surge. No, surge to crit. But with the Imperials getting surge to hit, it's only really going to help you with cover and vehicles, but we've got vehicles sorted with impact grenades, so we're going to help us with cover, but then we're going to ignore the cover because of the Flame Trooper. So I don't think I would run fragmentation grenades on the Snow Troopers, but maybe you want to, so I'm just rocking impact grenades. DLT Stormtroopers, they are the staple and the standard of almost every Imperial list. Which is a shame. I'd quite like there to be just a generic good against trooper at long range infantry unit, but we don't have that yet. Maybe the Death Troopers will fill that niche. Got a unit of naked Stormtroopers here just to fill the points. You could probably drop some stuff and maybe squeeze in a DLT, but I doubt it. We'd said the Imperial Royal Guard. I've just worked on Recon Intel just because I had the points. And then 3 units of snipers. Now, I only own 2, so I definitely can't even run this list. And I feel a bit janky putting them in because they're such a weird unit. They can die quite easily, but they also can perform quite well depending on how your opponent chooses to deal with them. Very interesting unit, and I'm not really sure if we'll see them long term. You could, maybe drop one of them, drop a couple of things, and put in the E-Web Heavy Blaster. Pretty decent as well with Palp. You can pull him up the board a little bit and shoot him. You could, in theory, if you wanted to move and then Palp him, or you could move, stand by, and Palp him later and stuff like that. There's a few different things you could do. And I do like the E-Web Heavy Blaster in the sense, my main thing is you need to actually lose all 4 of your wounds before you become less effective. And it does surge to crit as well, which is pretty interesting. So I'm not against it. I'm not saying do or don't. Just run it to your preferences, I think. But yeah, I think this will be not your standard list, but because I've got Intel, Recon and impact grenades and emergency stims everywhere and stuff like that. But I think this kind of list where you've got Palp, Royal Guard and troopers essentially going to be another archetype of the Imperial lists. It's essentially it's a different kind of list that will play differently from Vader, that will play differently from Vias and ATSTs and Vias and Boba and all that kind of stuff. So happy to see it, happy to have it. And whether or not at the minute in my head I'm not rating Palpatine, but I think this is because I've not seen him. The reason I'm not necessarily rating for him is that it's a very obvious one-dimensional ability, but it does create a massive zone of like fear and chaos. Being able to double move your Royal Guard into like double move them, attack, or even double move Palpatine, move them straight in. There's a lot of like sneaky things you could do with him and do with them and that kind of stuff, and I do like it in that sense, but I need to see it played. And I need it to like settle down and play a lot. And that's a good thing. At the minute, the meta's not set because we're getting new things all the time. So I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. If you like this video, that's all I'm going to talk about right now. Let me know your versions of this list, or what you think Palp should take, what you think Imperial Royal Guard should take. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you to all my supporters on Patreon. That really does make a difference. I'm really happy about that. And I thank you deeply. If you want to consider doing that, there'll be a link probably here in a second. If you've not already subscribed to the channel, then please do, and like the video. I'm not sure if I'm repeating myself. Either way, though, you should definitely have a most beautiful day, and goodbye. Bye, guys.